Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of the Drive Home Podcast. I'm your host, and I want to go home. Good thing that's what this podcast is entirely about. So, let's drive this podcast home. So, today I worked another 5-hour shift. The only bad part about it was that I had to work from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. The bad part was the 9 in the morning thing, and I believe I did this one other time this week before, and I hope to never have to do it again. I'm stuck at a stoplight currently, or not a stoplight, not a stop sign. Can't get to. Now I gotta get to you. I mean, they should be able to go find me. This gives me a good view too, actually. Okay, so. After this car. Yes, we did it. And instant red light. Great. I mean, I can wait. It's fine. So, since the last time we talked, my aunt's come up for a visit, and she gave me and my brother our Christmas presents, which, it's cool how we still get those. It feels a little sad because we're, both adults, but at the same time, my mentality hasn't changed for a long time. So, in the grand scheme of things, I guess, I'm still, in high school mentally, but, or even middle school, honestly. I mean, obviously, I don't think about anything else that way. It's just my mindset hasn't really evolved into thinking I'm an actual adult. And I guess the fact that I still get presents sort of helps that in some way. Not that I don't want presents. I mean, everybody loves free stuff. It's just now that I'm older, and most of the time if I want something I can buy it myself, it just kind of takes the wind out of my sails in this sense. You know? So I have to get creative with my gifts now. I have to remember, I have to ask a bunch of people for stuff, so I have to not buy everything I want as soon as it comes out, or if I see it somewhere. I have to remember that item, or I have to find stuff that I wouldn't normally consider to buy myself. I don't buy stuff off of Amazon all that often. If I need a book and I can't get it locally, then yeah, sure. But, other than that, it's pretty much all just, stuff I could get in real life anyway, so I'll just find it somewhere if I really want it that bad. But, I guess, I don't really have, I don't have too many complaints. And, but, if there's something I want, if I have the money for it and I can spare it, even if I can't spare it sometimes, I make myself suffer just to get my hands on whatever new game. But, Christmas this year gave me a unique situation where there were a couple of games I could and would play, but didn't care enough to buy myself. And I guess it's a bit weird, honestly, if it's not weird, it's just, I don't know. Like growing up, I don't want to say normal, because that's wrong. But growing up as like a straight white guy doing straight white guy things growing up doesn't, your position on, feminine activities and stuff kind of gets skewed. That being said, the stuff, I asked my aunt for 2 video games. She's a big Nintendo nerd. She was really into like Nintendo stuff. Like she actually had a Nintendo Entertainment System, and she bought the Wii when it had come out as well. And she still has. Well, she did have the Nintendo Entertainment System, but she sold it or gifted it to my brother because he's super into it. And she had a decent amount of interesting games. I can't remember all of them, but I know she had Duck Hunt and like 1 or 2 of the Marios. It was either the original Mario or it was Mario 3. Super Mario 3, I think, or something. The one, like, it's like the level one, and you can alternate with Luigi, and you can hold on to items, and you can do the thing where you can skip worlds, and there's like a world map. I don't know all I remember is that if you do 2-player, you can alternate between Mario and Luigi by doing a mini game that's reminiscent of a different Mario title, or maybe it's not even Mario, I can't remember. And it's hard to remember, honestly. It's a long time ago, so I'm not going to try thinking about it too much. There was a handful of other games, but I don't remember them as well. And we couldn't really play Duck Hunt because the end zapper was broken. And I'm calling it the end zapper because I play Splatoon, and I think that's what it was called in that game. I can't remember if it was actually called the end zapper. Maybe I did get the name right, honestly. Because zapper doesn't sound like a Splatoon name. I don't know. Either way, our aunt used to babysit me and my brother a lot when we were younger, so we got to hang out at her house a lot, and while we weren't allowed to play video games whenever we wanted to, there were a lot of times when we did get to play games, and that was one of them. Well, those were some of them. And she also had a Wii, and we played a lot of Wii games. I don't know if we owned it at some point, but I know my aunt had Wally for the Nintendo Wii, and we played that a lot because it was a single player game and we'd have to alternate, and that would kind of suck. But and there were other games too, but I don't know, those are the ones I remember the most. Wait, did my aunt have the Transformers? So most of my family members have nicknames based off of their relation to me and my brother. My mom and dad are just my mom and my dad, of course. They have their own names. But my aunt, who is my dad's sister, is Auntie. Yes, very creative nickname, I know. Actually, so my uncles don't have nicknames, actually. Those are the only ones who didn't have nicknames. I only have one aunt, technically. I have like a aunt-in-law now, or something. Or a step-aunt, I don't remember. One of my uncles married someone. Well, they're both married, actually, so I guess I have 2 aunt-in-laws, or step-aunt, I don't know. All I know is that I like my family. They're great people. They're all good people. Some of them have quirks. Well, they pretty much all have quirks. I'd say the part of my family I know the least about, or the members of my family I know least about, my uncle and my step-aunt on my father's side. I have a little cousin from them as well. And so that's cool. But like besides the fact that my uncle is older than my dad, and I think it was funny because my dad was a lot taller than my uncle, but my uncle was older than my dad, and I think that's what threw me off. But I could just be misremembering things. Anyway, they seem the most, I don't know if I want to say normal, but like, I don't know, they have the least amount of quirks, I guess. My aunt has a lot of dogs and a lot of cats, and she's a Nintendo nerd, and like the rest of my dad's family, they all love the NASCAR races and a lot of the sports, and like because we live in New England, of course, so it's like hockey and football, sometimes basketball, but mostly hockey and football. For a while, I was my family's good luck charm. I would watch, and the team, I believe the Boston, well, I don't know why I say I believe, the Boston Bruins. We don't live near there, but we're, it's the New England mentality. You live in New England, you're a New Englander, and we all love our New England teams, probably. So, the New England Patriots. So, the Boston Red Sox was the team I used to hear about a lot more. No idea. I haven't heard nearly a thing from any, like, baseball thing in a while. It's been a long time since I've heard anything baseball related. And then the Boston Bruins for the hockey. I went to a couple, I think it was Bruins hockey games, at least 2, with my family. I don't know, maybe 3. I think I remember going when I was really young, or maybe that was some Disney on Ice thing that I can't remember, because it was a different stadium, and it was weird, like the seats were elevated higher, and they were like platforms, kind of. I don't know, that was an old memory. Instead of rambling, so I'm trying to get back on track. So anyway, my aunt got me, and I asked for these, so my aunt got me, One Punch Man, 29, which I didn't have, and I waited for, from my aunt, and then, I believe, right, I don't know, like, I have to remember, and when I need to remember, sometimes I say, I believe. That must be it. And so, my aunt got me Princess Peach Showtime and the Legend of Link game, which is what I call it, because it's you play as Zelda instead of Link, even though it's Legend of Zelda, but you play as Link. That's kind of funny, honestly. Anyway, it's the Zelda, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, I believe. It's like a sequel or something to Link's Awakening, or related, I think, or I don't know. I can't remember. I'm not too much in the knowledge of the games around that time frame in the Legend of Zelda continuity. I mean, if I'm being honest, the only other Legend of Zelda games I've played are the Warriors games, Twilight Princess, a little bit of Skyward Sword, well, half of Skyward Sword probably, I don't know, and then the new two. What were they called? The big ones. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. That's right. So recently I learned something interesting. So, Dad and a character in the Street Fighter 6 from, I think, King of Fighters? I don't want to get that wrong, but I feel like that's right. It's the same game Terry came from, because they have... Well, anyway. The Terry that is in Smash Bros. Yes. But he's not from Smash Bros. He's from the series... I believe it's King of Fighters, and I don't want to be stupid about it. But that's the only game name I can think of. Anyway. And so I learned that when that character was out... Well, that character was out of the Street Fighter 6. And she's kind of fun. Bro, you're driving in the middle of the road. Why? You are crazy. I got a shiny new car and they're driving it in the, they're driving over the yellow line. Like the middle of their car over the yellow line. Well, it was. I hope they're not drunk. They're behind me. And being drunk and driving, I don't know. I'm gonna try and get back on track and hope that they don't, do anything stupid. But, yeah, right, so, what was I even talking about? Was I talking about just Peach and the Legend of Zelda? Right, the timeline. Right, yeah. So, I haven't played too many Legend of Zelda games. I played the original a little bit. Oh, right. No, I'm stupid. I also played the 3DS remakes of Majora's Mask. I say remakes. I don't know what the specific connotation for it is. Is it a remaster? Is it a remake? I don't know. Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. I played both of those all the way through. Because I always get that wrong. I don't know what the right one... And they both start with re. And it's like... If they're remaking the game... I mean... I guess I know the difference. Whatever. Anyway, I kind of want to get to the main point. So, I didn't get... So my aunt forgot it... Echoes of Wisdom at home. So I only had Princess Peach Showtime. And I like Princess Peach Showtime. It's fun to play through, but playing through it to get all the collectibles, if you miss some of the collectibles, which you can do, it becomes very annoying. So, a couple quality of life things I just have issues with is just you can't skip most of the cutscenes. I mean, because they're half cutscenes, because they take place within the game, but you just have to kind of follow along and wait until you can move. And there are so many of those. There's so many. I get it's supposed to be a play and stuff or whatever, but can you add a skip feature for if you completed the level already? So with Fire Emblem Heroes, which is a Fire Emblem mobile game, you can play through. There's a story mode, of course, and after you beat a level, you unlock the ability to skip that story. And of course, you can skip the story inside of the thing that you're looking at, but you can choose for the story to not show up whatsoever after you beat it. And I would like that to be added, because my lord, there are so many half cutscenes in that game. So many. There are too many. Obviously I like them and they're good, but and the only ones that you can skip are the transformation sequences. which, like, sure, I guess, but, like, why are, because I guess those ones aren't, like, within the game, so I guess there would be, like, a couple others you could skip, but still, it just it just feels kind of stupid that, like, you only skip so many of them. Because there's a lot of, like, there's a lot of dialogue going on, but the levels themselves are relatively short. Especially if you're replaying a level, it's short. And then another thing I have an issue with is that certain of so you need like 10 star things per level, right? If you want to get one, you have to start the level at the beginning. And there are certain mini-game objectives that you have to do in a certain amount of levels to get them. So, like, in the ice skating level, which there is one, I think there's probably going to be 2 or more, but I've only just beaten the second floor, so you have to perfectly do some ice skate challenge things to get, like, a certain number of stars depending on how good you do. And the first time I did it, I got 2 out of 3. I don't know why. I swear I got them all, but it was fine. I can do that one again. That's whatever. There was another one that I, like, had to look around for a bit. It was in one of those secret stages. And the annoying thing about that one is that you can always get it. Always. You just have to wait. If you don't wait and you just go back up, because it's one of those things where you do the little, like, pose, and then it rises and it sinks you into the ground. And then there's, like, it was an ice skating thing underground, and the symbols for what you had to do were coming down, like, the back wall, so you could see what you had to do a little bit before you had to start it up. And I didn't realize, so the first time I didn't realize, and I instantly left being like, I missed that one. I won't be able to get it. And then the second time, I got all of them but the last one, which the last one is the one that actually gives you the one of the 10 star tokens. After that, and when I was leaving the second one, the thing showed back up, because if you wait long enough, it shows back up, which I was just so afraid, because you can't go back in, and there's no option to, like, restart, like, the little mini game things. So in the demo and in the game, there's a bakery one where Peach has, like, a chef's confectionery. She makes sweets, right? And it's essentially like there are, like, 2 mini games. You make cookies by spamming the B button until it glows the right color, and then you hand the cookies over to whoever. And then there's making cakes, basically. You have to frost the tops of the cakes. And that's fine. But in the second level of that, so you make the cakes first, and then you make the cookies. And the problem with this level is that there is a decent amount of dialogue going on throughout the whole stage, and you can't skip any of the cutscenes in it. And you have to there's, like, one of the very second, I want to say, like, second to last, so you get, I think you get 10 stars in this one. Sometimes you get less than 10. But basically, in this stage, you can either... So, the cookie part is a little bit different. You have to make cookies before the enemies break through the walls to where you're making the cookies. And so it's a rush against time, and you have a time limit. And to get all 3 stars from that, or star token things, I don't know, they're like green, I forget what they're called. Like sparkles, I guess? Sparkle stars? I don't know. Anyway, to get all 3, you need to, very annoyingly, you need to give all of them something to eat. And it's actually kind of difficult. But if you fail that, keep in mind, if you let the timer run out, which is, easy to do, it will just continue the mission. And that's at the very end. So you'll have to go all the way back to the beginning, do the cake minigame again, and then go over. And then there's a decent amount of dialogue in between as well. It's kind of extremely frustrating. And so, well, I do like playing the game. And playing a level through a level like once is fun enough. The amount of unskippable like mini cutscenes and dialogue options within the game really drags it down for me personally. Maybe there's somebody who likes reading through the same dialogue every time. And like it was legitimately one of the hardest things I had to, because it's a time limit, and there's a pattern to it that helps, but it is relatively difficult, at least for me. Like, when I did get all 3 stars, I had 1 second left. 1. Like, that's, not great. The good news is, with that one, and I don't know if it's repeating at all, but so when you make cookies, sometimes chefs will appear next to the cookie batter. If you cook with them, you can make even more cookies in one batch. It'll go up to like a rainbow rarity or something. And you'll make a lot. And the main point is that those guys will always show up in the same spot. The only issue is that all the baking, the cookie batter mixes or whatever, all of them, like you basically can only do one at a time, and they'll disappear shortly after you complete one, even though they are all on like a specific timer. So regardless of when you get them done, or when you finish making a cookie, they will disappear at some point. And they disappear so quickly, it's hard to like necessarily get to the ones that you need to get to, and then figure out who you're gonna give the big batch of cookies to. Because there's 2 sides. There's the left side and the right side. And so far, that has been the hardest mission for me. That's the only one I actually failed, like, twice at the first time I did it. So if you actually fail at that one by letting a bunch of enemies group up on one side, they'll break through and allow you to restart that minigame. But if you're at the very end of that minigame, like before the timer reaches 0, and you know you're not going to be able to do it, and you hit the pause menu, you can only go back to the beginning of the mission. So you either don't get enough and have to restart at the beginning, or you let them kill you. But you have to know if you're failing, because you need a certain amount of them, realistically, to break through the walls fast enough. It was a very annoying mission, at least for me. And I'd like to consider myself good at mini games, especially when it's just spam B and then hand over the cookies or whatever with the same button. But it was not that easy. That's for me. And maybe I was doing something wrong, but I don't know. Anyway, I've got some cold stuff and I want to go inside. So, and it's been like 10 extra minutes. So, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Drive Home Podcast. I hope you liked it. And if you did, leave a like. And if you didn't like it, you don't have to. And also, why are you still here if you don't like it? Yeah, no, I think this is a pretty solid one. I actually was able to stay half coherent throughout it. At least my point, I kept going back to the main point eventually. Anyway, I'm excited for the next couple weeks of stuff to do. Monster Hunter comes out in like a week. Wilds does. And I cannot wait to play that. I cannot wait. But I will have to, so at least there'll be something else to do in the meantime. Anyway, I hope you all have a great next 24 hours. And again, thank you for listening. Bye!